And welcome back to another Souls Day episode. As I promised you, we're gonna be taking it to the land of Anolondo, uh, which is going to be the land of the lords. Um, as you can see, I was being trolled by a friend of mine in the beginning, and yeah, most people told me that switch off all your Steam notifications and take it offline so that people don't bother you. But I think it's actually just fun to sort of incorporate all my friends into my videos in one way or another. It's like, as much as I may not be talking to them as I'm playing, just having their messages pop up while I play for other people to read and see kind of gives you a general idea of some of the some of the silly friends I have and what they say. I guess if my friends want me to remove it as they think it's private information, then I'll also do so. But so far, as you guys saw, guys just wanna pitch in their 2 cents here and there into my videos and just say a few words, just to take me off track. But anyway, here we are in Anolondo. Quiet. The guide. She says, what beacon would they be in this lost city? But yet, it seems that they, well, as you'll see later on, Gwendolyn is making a false sense of the presence of the gods in Anolondo. He wants people to know that this place, the gods have not forsaken them. But then here the keeper of the bonfire contradicts this and says, what other hope would they, like, she's the beacon of hope in a lost city. Why would she confess that it's lost unless she's just confessing it to you, the supposed chosen undead, so as to manipulate you into doing what they want you to do, which is highly most likely, actually, now that I think about it when I say it. Notice that most people that call you the chosen undead are just out to use you, and it's quite funny. I tried to use the slumbering dragon ring here to kind of sneak behind this giant, but apparently that doesn't work. I honestly wonder why. And equipping the wolf ring doesn't help also, as their hits usually hit you all the way straight to the ground, so there's no poison through, I believe. Well, at least with the armor I'm wearing, there'll be definitely no poison through their hits, so don't bother equipping the wolf ring. This was my mistake, as I realized that later on, thinking in retrospect. That ring generally does nothing for you against these guys, as they're slow. The chances of you being hit are small, but when oh well, well, spoke too soon. But anyway, when they do hit you, they hit you to the ground, and as you saw, there was no poison through that hit. And yeah, don't bother with the wolf ring. I'll do a ring swap later to a much better ring, which was the Chloranthy ring, which will give you at least, since you'll be rolling around most of the time, getting your stamina up is much better instead, and will be a better option. So that was my take on the fight with these giants in Anolondo. There's just no point whatsoever in equipping the wolf ring. It's a waste. Of course, this chest is a mimic. For those of you who don't know, if you throw a Lloyd's talisman at them, then they'll go back straight to sleep, and they'll 100% guaranteed you get to pick up what they had inside them. And of course, if you're scared and don't want to kill them, or you're generally having a tough time with the mimic, then you can use this strategy to get what they have in store without actually having to fight them. As a close friend of mine, he just seems to be trolling most of the time. Excuse me, just sending a message. But yeah, life's been good. If you're interested to know, I've run across a few problems, that I can't seem to, a few problems I can't seem to avoid, and they're directly impacting my life. But well, life ain't over. I'm not dead, so I hope that I'll be able to fix my problems, and it might affect my recording schedule soon for recording to YouTube. But hopefully, before the end of the year, my issues will be solved, and I'll be good to record for the upcoming year. But for now, I'm not really sure. My life has taken a twist, with a few personal matters that I don't want to really I'm not gonna bore you in discussing, but yeah, I guess everyone encounters problems, and I guess just wanted to tell you guys about it, that yeah, right now I personally I'm okay. I have no problems. Life's okay. Two shotting giants, that always makes me happy, with the +10 man sword, the man serpent great sword, the man sword. But that's just the way it is. What did I wanted to say about Orlando? What did I wanted to say? The land of lords, the land of gods. Oh, instead I wanted to talk about the what's that thing you get again? The Lord Vessel. It's quite interesting that you're given the Lord Vessel to take back all the souls that the lords found, and the rest of the soul that was divided and given to others. It's funny that you put these things back to the Lord Vessel to open the kiln of the first flame. And the reason that interests me is because I've heard other people say this, and I've thought about it myself. Maybe the Lord Vessel was the container of all the souls that everyone was a furtive pygmy. Everyone were these hollow draglings that they were during the time of the dragon. And I guess during the time of the dragon, this Lord Vessel fell upon the world. How, I don't know. Maybe the Lord Vessel was a fragment of the sun, or something, and the sun being a soul mass that now gives light to this world. But like I had said, a friend of mine had said that there was no sun during the time of the dragon, and all of a sudden, when this first flame appeared, the sun appeared. Whether the sun was a creation of Gwyn himself, as he's the Lord of Sun. Well, he was the Lord of Sunlight. And as you can see here in Orlando, since Gwyn left, is the place has been ushered into darkness. And when you kill his Phantom of Guinevere, you'll finally see the truth and unfold the truth of the Dark Moon Blades and the Dark Moon Seance. But it's interesting that you could argue that Gwyn could have been the creator of this round object in the sky called the sun, and he was the one who shed light, and him departing is what plunged the world into darkness. Or you could say that the sun was finally came into contact with this world, and the Lord Vessel was a bringer of this message and of this life and light that the sun had to bring. So now you could argue that putting the souls back into the Lord Vessel is making the soul one again. You're making it whole. So if that's the case, when you link the fire, I wonder who takes those souls. Because the funny thing is, you are being told by these serpents, these primeval serpents, to do all these things. But yet they all originate from the same place, the abyss. And they all know each other. And I assume they conspire together so as to usher in a world they would want. And just give you different stories as to make you choose between one. Because if both said the same thing, there would be the chance that... Oh, excuse me, I'm a bit tired. If they both ushered in the same message, there would be a chance that you could refuse. And if you refuse, then that would kind of ruin their plans. But my point being is that I assume that they both work together, even though they seem to be indirectly against each other. But I think that they are working together to mess with you and use you. And that's why most of these people who call you the Chosen Undead seem very suspicious to me. And most of them are actually lying to you. As, for example, the Phantom of Guinevere. We all know Guinevere left on Orlando with the God of Fire, Flann. But whether she left due to love or marriage, we don't know. Or she fled due to lack of hope in Orlando. Or whether because her father, Gwyn, had forsaken the place to go link the fire. We don't know why she left, but either way she's gone. And Gwyndolin himself decided to use this to manipulate, as since he was born he had an affinity for the moon. And his father did not find this very pleasing, and this was very feminine. So Gwyndolin was raised pretty much as a girl. And therefore was in shame most of his life. It's quite an interesting tale. But the whole point is that most of these people who call you the Chosen Undead seem to be lying, and they are very good liars. they are really good liars, and they found ways to manipulate you. Well, the concept of the Chosen Undead itself may not be a lie, but the people who seem to be using this concept are deceivers. That's a fact. But now, how Velka has anything to do with any of this, I'm actually lost on Velka. I know so little about her, but I don't know if she was on the side of Gwyn or not, because the Painted World suggests that all things Velka and her church were also banished as abominations. So was Seath's daughter Priscilla. This was something that could not be they could not let this out to the world for people to see, as this would cause much talk and hatred towards the gods, I guess. And for example, for someone like Guinevere, it would really hurt her standing within the Princess Guard and the people and the church, as to know that she herself gave herself up to a dragon, as part of a bounty for him forsaking his kind. It just would be terrible. But it's all what you make it, I guess. This story is all in what you want it to be. And as much as you could say much of what I say is speculation, much of it is how I actually understand it. And you may understand it in a different way, and that's actually why I think this game is so great. We can all come up with our plans as to how we think the world came about and what it had to offer. But it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting, especially Gwyndolin and Velka. Those two are the two characters that really spark interest and lighten me with their mysteriousness and all that lore and information, I guess. But anyway, back to the gameplay. These two gargoyles, I don't know if they would have been. I guess since it's still the ordinary new game, it won't be as hard, right? But I feel that these gargoyles are at the same level as the gargoyles you fought at the church, because I feel like they have the same amount of HP and deal the same amount of damage, which makes them weak, I believe. I think maybe, okay, fair and fine, they shouldn't have had more damage or something, but I think maybe if they gave them much more HP to survive, then I guess the fight with these gargoyles would have been a bit harder. But anyway, in this case, they're mini bosses, not bosses, as there is no theme song. and there is no their life bar is not being displayed at the bottom of the screen along with their name, which would suggest that they are mini bosses. As you can see, I'm letting him hit me through my carelessness, but he's not actually doing that much damage. I think he's doing about 100 per swing, and that's a chop, and that's a kill. If the gargoyle shield ain't so good, but I'm gonna try utilize it. The reason I'm using the shield I'm using right now, it's actually quite a bad shield, but as in the stats are really bad, but then its magic defense and fire defense are actually very decent, and its lightning defense lightning is average. But the reason I picked it up is because there'll be lots of most of the damage in this outer section of Anor Londo is lightning. It's split damage between lightning and physical, and most of the physical damage dealers can't be dodged. So I just picked it up just to see how bad it is, literally just to gauge if it's worth it or not using its lightning defense. But of course, if you really want a good lightning defense shield, just get yourself the effigy shield, but I don't have it, so I opted for this instead. And so far it's light, it's wooden. That's its downfall, really. The fact that it's a wooden shield. That's why its stability is low. But I think if I got it in the beginning, it would genuinely be a decent ring. In this place which is like pretty much like the shrine of Gwyn, but this is where the Darkmoon Blade Covenant is. As you can see, I'm standing by the statue. What I'll need to do is, probably after I beat Ornstein and Smoke, I won't continue with Anor Londo. Instead, I'll run back to the catacombs. I won't do it on camera, but I won't kill any of the bosses. I will go run back to the catacombs and pick up the Darkmoon Seance ring, if possible, and then come back and show you guys the Gwyndolin boss fight. As I don't think I would like, it's hard to choose, because as much as this may not be a faith build, the Darkmoon Covenant, I won't be able to use Darkmoon Blade, for example, for joining this covenant, but I get to fight against Dark Raids. It would give me another PvP option, as I'd showcased the Forest Hunter Covenant PvP in the videos when I was in the garden. And soon this plus 10 washing pole I have, which I'd wanted to keep sadly, because it's a DD scaling, and I'll be able to use it as a strength build, as I'll fully utilize both scalings with my 18 dex and my 40 strength when I get the 40 strength. But I think I don't have the resources to plus 10 another katana. I honestly don't, as this would cost me a lot of gold. Or I guess I could make the sacrifice and try farm up some souls somehow, but I'll have to farm souls to plus 10 another katana, so as to use the soul of Quelaag to make the Chaos Blade. Yeah, I think I'll do that with the Ayaito if I get the money. But my point being, the only reason why I still haven't forsaken the Forest Covenant is because I had wanted to show you guys the dialogue with Shiva of the East, and his dialogue about the Makoto, which is the Chaos Blade. And it's a really good dialogue, and it's a throwback to Demon Souls, which I really enjoy. It's kind of interesting that these giants do not react when you shoot them with arrows. So if you're rocking poison arrows, or if you've upgraded your bow, sadly I haven't. I kind of stopped upgrading my ranged attacks, which has my crossbow and my bow, because of the lack of being able to farm the forest. I can't do that since I'm part of the forest and I can't kill the NPCs there. So like I said, I really have to get this dialogue with Shiva done, because it will open up the forest for me to farm again, and I really need that. As you guys can see, I'd wanted to upgrade some armor, but I don't have the souls to do it, and the forest is by far the best place. In about 10 10 to 15 minutes, you'll be able to get enough souls to maybe plus 10 2 weapons. And maybe in 10 to 15 minutes, you'll have enough time to gain enough souls to plus 10 armor set. Well, not an armor set, but a piece of armor, which would be good. But sadly, I'm part of the Covenant and can't do it. So that's kind of my issue right there. So yeah, Shiva talks about the Makoto, the cursed sword, and what it means in this world of the Soul series. And I really want the dialogue. Even it would have made more sense if I had been rocking a Dex build, because I would have been using a katana either way. So it wouldn't have been no problem sacrificing a katana to make the Chaos Blade. But now the problem is the Chaos Blade scaling is like C and B, and that I won't be dealing that much damage with the strength build. So it might not be worth it. But who cares? It's a game. That's how I just want that dialogue. And there's no other way to get it, I believe. So I'll just smith the Chaos Blade after the Ornstein and smoke fight and try my best. But yeah, it's quite interesting, the Makoto. It's quite interesting. What I'm doing here is I'm trying to pull these guys in closer. Whoa, 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 that arrow. But anyway, I'm trying to... If you stand right about this region, one of these two guys just decides to fall off. You can see he's getting close, but he's not there. I don't know. Maybe the one in front is just a little bit too much in front. But... It's you can get it, but sometimes it bugs out like it's doing for me here. So you have to kind of go de-aggro them and aggro them again, back and forth, and it will work if you don't want a direct confrontation, as they could possibly stun lock you with their lightning, and I didn't want to do that. One ended up falling, which is good, and now you can fight the other with relatively less problems as you would have had fighting two. And now over here's the interesting part. I'd wanted to use poison arrows against these Dark Knights, but when I was using my mouse, I didn't have the mouse pad underneath, and the table the table I'm using to put my keyboard and mouse on is relatively rough. So I couldn't get like as you can see, the map tracing is not actually that good. And I'm trying to move the mouse, so you're gonna watch me fail for a little bit trying to get the projection right on spot. It's just using normal arrows first, just to get the arc correct. But I kept on missing. Then ended up giving up. But anyway, it's just to give you guys a general idea of how I believe is the best way to get past this place without having to suffer too much from the two great bows that you'll experience while you're trying to walk up this narrow ledge. But while I'm failing, it was, I don't know if you guys were present at the time, but during Halloween there was a YouTuber who I follow called J Black Mel. Martyrs Brigade is his gamer tag, and he's a good Dark Souls PvPer. And they held a Halloween event on a Gravelord event on Twitch for Halloween. They were streaming it, and it was quite interesting. And it's quite interesting that people hold these events. And I wished I could have taken part, but sadly, I could not, because no one knows me anyway. So they'll be like, who the hell is this new guy here wants to try and stuff. But anyway, it's quite sad. And of course, since there are no dedicated servers, it would have been close to impossible to find the American server they were gaming on. And so this was really difficult for me. So what I ended up doing here is rocking the Eagle Shield, which used to be, I dare say, one of the best shields in the game. As you can see, its stats are very good, but what they did to nerf it was it not blocking 100% physical anymore, and they reduced, I think it's lightning resist just a little bit, just to make it not 100% foolproof, because it had 70 stability, 100% block, good stats all across the board, and the resources used to wield the shield were very low. So there's no way it could continue like this, and that's why the Eagle Shield had to be nerfed. But I think I'll continue using it throughout my time in Anolondo, as I want to experiment with the Heavy Shield, as I haven't actually given Heavy Shields that much time. The only time I ever used a Heavy Shield was like the fight against Calamite, but besides that, not really. As you can see, even the Black Knights here outside are actually rebounding off the shield, which is very good, very very good. The shield, I dare say, I'm gonna stick with I'm gonna stick with the shield unless when I get some parrying done. Then I'll go back to like the heater shield or the grass crest or something. But Eagle Shield, good shield. I'm gonna try it out. And so far so good in Anolondo. I haven't died yet. Hope this continues this way, but I can't promise much for the Ornstein and Smoke boss fight. That one always gave me stress, and I don't know if I'll get the chance to summon someone, as I've done it solo most of the time, and I noticed that doing it solo is very difficult. So I hope I'll be able to provide that content for you guys, and maybe I'll ask help from a friend. I hope I'll be able to ask help from a friend, and the boss fight won't drag on for longer than necessary. But anyway, that was pretty much this Souls Day. Just talking about a few things, and I guess in the next episode I'll further explore Anolondo. I'll get the mini boss fight with Lord Trek. I guess avenging the Firekeeper. And what else will we do? Kill the Titanite Demon, the boss fight with Ornstein and Smo, and a few other things, I guess, before I leave. But definitely I won't do the Painted World until I can get the Dark Moon Seance Ring. And I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna do it without having to continue the Catacombs off camera. Sole, always the good guy, always trying to well, Sole might be a little bit queer, guys. Let that be a lore detail for all you big hotshot YouTubers. Is Sole queer? But anyway, now I'm just gonna make a run for the Havel's armor and call it quits for the video. As you can see, that's my +10 washing pole. So a little bit about Havel. This kind of wow. Oh, I'm gonna miss a lot of parries against this guy, so don't be shocked. It's just trying to practice my parrying with no shield, the one-hand parries. But anyway, another reason why I believe that the person who was in the tower basement was not Havel, is because you actually find Havel's things here, and you find them with the Occult Club. And I don't know if this was intentional, but he stashed the Occult Club in a chest of avarice as a trap. So it's as if he didn't want anyone who found his stash to probably live and live to know why, with the Occult Club in it. And we all know that the power of occult is the power of darkness, and it's the power to hunt the gods. And so I guess, yes, I still strongly believe that Havel was started and was part of a rebellion, and most of these people who started the rebellion, like Velka, had either their subordinates, their beliefs, or anything against them locked up in the Painted World, and I guess they fled. They fled to run away from impending death, I guess, from Gwyn and the other lords. That's why you don't get to see them. And it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting, as most people who seem to have opposed the gods, or either were too good for their own good, were locked away in the Painted World. I'll talk more about Xanthus King Jeremiah and his ties in with Quailana, the Inhuman Witch. I'll talk about them, I guess, when I get back into the Painted World, and I guess I'll have to plus 15 a Pyromancer's Glove, but all that will have to wait till after the Forest Under Covenant ends, as I desperately need gold, and to plus 15 a Pyro Glove requires a lot of it. But anyway, those are my plans, and I hope to make them happen. It's difficult. I find it difficult to do everything in one playthrough. I think it's impossible, really, of course, because you can't be a Dark Wraith and still be part of Fram's Covenant. But anyway, that's just the way it is. I'll try to do as most as I can to show you guys that it is possible to almost do everything in Dark Souls. But anyway, thanks for listening to me, chaps and ladies and everyone else. And this is my strength build, Melzel. And I hope to see you guys next time. Goodbye, and see you soon.